Time is 6:23. You're watching the News Hour on GMTV. Now, you probably won't know his name or even recognise his face. But this morning, Hollywood is mourning the death of movie legend Don Lafontaine, fondly known as the voice of God. Yes, film trailers will never be the same again. The unmistakable baritone, perhaps bass baritone voice of Don Lafontaine, who's died at the age of 68. Well, we're joined now by Britain's answer to Lafontaine, Red Pepper. Good morning to you. And I know he was an inspiration to you, wasn't he?
Indeed he was. When Don started, well, first of all, may I say condolences to his family. He leaves his wife and 3 children, 3 ladies. It's a great loss. But when I was 1 year old, he was starting his career, and that was 45 years ago then. And he was at the top of his game for so many, many years. What a wonderful voice. He was comically known as Thunderthroat. He was just amazing. I thought my voice was deep, but he had the rich timbre in his voice. He was just amazing, really was.
An amazing job that he did. And how did he get into it? How do you get into that sort of work?
Well, originally, after leaving the Army, I do believe he went into broadcasting. He started up a little studio, and then I think MGM wanted to do, a guy didn't turn up for a job, and he took it, and he got the job. Then he ended up working with Universal, MGM, for many companies, and then they wanted him to become president, but he enjoyed his voice work so much that he stayed doing voices, and he was cleaning up.
He certainly did, didn't he? Because I was reading this, 5,000 films he actually did the voiceovers for.
Well, allegedly, I think it was a lot more than that, personally, and God knows how many television adverts, hundreds of thousands. At the top of his game, I think he was doing about 60 voiceovers a week. And you got to bear in mind, most voiceovers do like 60 in 3-4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
And I know that he was actually chauffeured. He was actually chauffeured around from one to another.
Well, to be honest, he had to be because of his parking. He just could not find time to park and get into the studios.
Just not enough time.
He really didn't.
And how did you get into it? Because I know you were working on the Tube, weren't you, on the London Underground?
Well, I was very fortunate, to be honest with you. I was driving trains for a living, just getting on with a regular job, and somebody heard my voice when I made an announcement on the train.
They weren't a normal announcement, were they? They weren't quite. You used to put a little spin on them.
Yeah, occasionally, but generally I was a good boy. But every now and then I'd do something silly like turn the lights off on the train and, "This is your driver speaking, or is it?" You know, I do crazy stuff like that. I do crazy stuff like that.
And a TV producer, I think, heard you.
Yeah, pretty much. And from then on, 15 years down the line, I'm still doing it and still very happy doing it. It's a great career. It
is a great career, but how do you get a voice like that? I mean, do you eat gravel for breakfast? What happens?
Well, I can't let you into that secret, but I take care of my voice. I really do. I don't abuse my voice.
Did you ever smoke?
Okay.
I did when I was like 7. No, I don't smoke, funny enough. I don't really smoke. I drink very seldomly. It's just one of those things.
Great voice.
Got lower and lower and lower.
Which is excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming in today and telling us about this Red. Is Red Pepper your real name?
Red Pepper.
Yes, right.
Yes.
Okay, it is your real name. Yes, of course. Right, Marty Fish, probably. We would like you to actually read us into the next link. So if you could just look down camera 4's nose, as it were, and just read us that.
When the nation looked for answers on what to wear to go to work or to go to school, there was only one person who could make sense of it all. Andrea McLean delivers the weather. You like that?
There's no point. I tell you what, let's just have that on a loop for every morning. Do you know what? When I'm getting ready in the morning, I'm just going to play that back. Yeah. Like the beginning of Rocky. Da, da, da. OK, I'm sorry, I can't really follow that. Let's take a look at the weather.
Wow, that's a great voice. Thanks, Carla. Thanks very much indeed. So what does it take to become the king of trailers, apart from gargling with razor blades, maybe? We're joined now by the UK's answer to Don Lafontaine, Red Pepper. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
Oh, my word. That's a very deep voice.
Well, it's not as deep as Don's. He had an amazing voice. Absolutely amazing.
Is that your normal voice every day? You get up and say, "Hi, Mum, how you doing? Can I have a cup of tea?"
No, I talk like...
No. See, it would be so good if that was true.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Can I express my condolences to Don's family, his wife and 3 girls who he's left behind. But Don was at the top of his game for like 45 years. He started when I was like 1 year old, and He's just amazing. He was amazing. Just an amazing voice, absolutely.
Extraordinary voice. I mean, obviously, as you say, very sad for his family, but a big loss to the industry as well. 5,000 films, which you think is an underestimate.
Well, I think he done more, to be honest with you. I mean, he was doing, at the peak of his career, he was doing like 60 trailers per week, you know, and that's astronomical. Some people don't do that in their lifetime, to be honest. But he was great, better known as the Don, because he was the man.
So how do you get into something like that? I mean, it's not really on your list of options, is it, when you go
Well, a lot of people don't realize.
Sometimes
Sometimes you are connected and sometimes you get into it by accident. I mean, Don was a recording engineer in the Army. He started off and then he moved on, had his own production company. And he done a trailer by accident because somebody else didn't turn up. And that's how he started. And then he realized, well, I can make a living out of this. And boy, did he do just that.
And what about you? How did you get into it?
Me, I was just fortunate. I was driving a train, as you do, making an announcement, and somebody heard me who was influential and got me into it. And 15 years later, I'm still doing it.
Wow, imagine you saying the buffet car's now open.
The buffet car
I'd
is now
nip down
open.
the carriage straight away.
and you're all in big trouble if you don't go down there now.
You would worry, wouldn't you, what was round the corner? Listen, we can't let you go, can we, without trying out your expertise.
Okay.
Normally, I would say, here's Andrew with the weather in a slightly squeaky sort of home counties voice, which is not appealing to anyone, to be honest. So why don't you give it some build-up?
OK, Richter scale at the ready here.
Yes, let's all stand by.
Okay. When the nation looked for answers on what to wear to go to work or to go to school, there was only one person who could make sense of it all. No fear, no regrets, no nonsense. It's Andrea with the weather.
Wow! Brilliant, brilliant. Absolutely.
What was that? No fear, no regrets, no nonsense.
There you go.
I'm afraid that bit. You obviously don't read the tabloids. Let's take a look at the weather.